Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Soccer's Overtime, your weekly look inside the San Diego Soccers and the Major Arena Soccer League, coming to you live on Twitch alongside Tony Sanchez. Well, virtually alongside. I mean, here we are, right next to you on our screens. Craig Elston here with you for Soccer's Overtime Season 6, Episode 9. New Year is here. The Gauntlet begins for this club with some big games coming up in the next 2 weeks. But first things first, Happy New Year and welcome back, Tony. It's great to see you, my friend.
Feliz Año Nuevo. Thank you again, Craig, for being such a great part of our year, my year last year. I hope for nothing for better things for us and the San Diego Soccers this 2024.
Yeah, we had to talk about that super disappointing 2023 on Saturday night's broadcast, right, Tony? 24-2, but 2 losses in the playoffs. That's one too many. Got to get that sorted. Get that sorted come this April. We'll get it one of my
12 great wishes for the soccer. So there we go.
Well, thank you. You used one of your 12 great wishes?
Yeah. At midnight. Do you do the grape thing?
No, so we have my wife's Filipina, so we have the 12 round fruits. We have to have 12 round fruits. And then the banging of pots and pans to ward out the old year and ward in the new year. That's what we did. It's very noisy, and I usually ask to do the East Coast or the Central Coast New Year just to get it sorted.
Love that.
Hey, we're doing a show. On the show tonight, let's talk about that for just a second. Another win for the Soccers. The boys put together their most complete performance of the season on Saturday night, including the goal of the year so far. We'll recap a convincing win over Tacoma. Tonight's special guest is number 9. Tavoy Morgan is joining us live at the bottom of the hour at 5:30 to talk about his development as a target forward. Great start to the season, his dance moves, and of course, so much more. We've got another week of results to ponder in MASL news. Who's the favorite in the East now? I don't think I've changed my mind, but I'll at least pretend to for a minute in order to facilitate the conversation. Last but not least, it's time to line them up for Sunday's showdown. Oh, media game. The media game roster reveal coming up at the end of the show in Soccer's news. We say big time thanks and welcome to everybody that's joining us live on Twitch. This show is a live video show every Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, whether it's standard or daylight, on Twitch, on channel at San Diego Soccer. So thanks to everyone who is here. For those who are either watching or listening on our YouTube channel the next day or on our podcast feed, hey, come become part of the Tuesday evening community at 5 o'clock at San Diego Soccer. Click the follow button. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Give us that like, rate, subscribe. Do us up. Help us up. We'll help you continue to get the Soccer's knowledge on Soccer's Overtime. Woo! Well, Tony, I tell you what, man, it's been a big day. It's been a long day. I saw you pop up a couple of the comments. We finally got to make the announcement this morning on 97.3 The Fan here in San Diego that the 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. slot, the midday slot, will be occupied by myself and Annie Heilbrunn for the future going forward, and that our first show will be Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. Spent pretty much the whole day at the radio station today before dropping on down here. And, first off, I'm putting that out there just to let everybody know, because I know there's a lot of folks who are fans and want to follow. And yes, we're going to have a weekly soccer segment on our station. Yes, the Soccers are going to be a team that we will talk about from time to time on our show. But the thing I want to make clear, Tony, to all the Soccers fans on this podcast and on this forum is that Soccer's Overtime ain't going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not leaving the game. I'm not leaving the teams. We're here. We're double pinching. We're gonna just double shift it. But it's gonna be a ton of fun. I can't wait to get started with Annie Heilbrunn. I'm honored and excited to be able to team up with one of the most respected people in town and to be a part of a mixed gender show on Sports Talk Radio in San Diego and to have the opportunity to do that. So it's been a long day big thanks to everybody who has reached out on the phone or on social media and whatnot. And again, Soccer's Overtime, Soccer's Padres Hot Tub all continues. Nothing's changing. San Diego Wave PA, anything else that I can conjure up and do as the year moves on, it's going to keep happening.
Now, congratulations. I know, we talked about this just before the broadcast, and honestly, it's something that's going to benefit this this community in soccer sense, right? If we want to just talk about soccer, you're a treasure trove of baseball knowledge. I've had the privilege to sit next to you during a Padres game, and it was probably one of my favorite Padres and baseball viewing experiences of my life. So that's going to be great. But in general, like now it's something that it's another avenue for the San Diego Sockers to have a platform on it and soccer in general. So I wish nothing but the best. And as far as Annie, I mean, that's somebody who has some knowledge next to you. So I don't know. You're going to have to keep up, Craig, with Annie.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. And I can't wait for the show. And like I said, San Diego FC, San Diego Wave FC, San Diego Sockers, these are clubs that we're going to hold close to our heart on the show. And I think there's strategic relevance as well to positioning as a soccer show, because we are Soccer City, San Diego. Hey, I don't care how the Prop G vote went. We are still a soccer city, and it has been proven out over time. I'm thrilled to be on the radio during this time in San Diego sports, as opposed to talking about AJ Smith and North Turner and whatever other Chargers nonsense we had to use to talk about.
There.
Absolutely. So, and by the way, I just saw a question on the chat. Our show will be on YouTube every single day from 10 to 2 Pacific, in addition to being on the airwaves and on the Odyssey app, which is our parent company. So if you happen to be someone that, wherever you're living and you're not within the San Diego region, you can go to YouTube to the 97.3 The Fan SD page, and we will be live there every day from 10 to 12, or from 10 to 2, I should say. So 10 to 12 and then 12 to 2.
Yeah, you should probably know your own schedule, Craig.
Well, at 12, I'm just going to get up and they're like, no, you're half done. Go get a juice box and some gummy fruits and get back in there. Second half still to play. So very much understood. But yeah, exciting day. Very exciting day. Thanks to everybody. I can't wait to go to sleep and to play one more final round of morning weekday golf tomorrow, and then it's in studio for the rest of my life, hopefully, Monday through Friday. So great stuff. Okay, Tavoy's coming up at the bottom of the hour. Let's get to it. We only have one recap this week, so we had a little wiggle room right here. But let's get into the Sockers and the Tacoma Stars from Saturday night. Great crowd, really well-seated crowd as well. And here's Tavoy Morgan getting things off on the good foot. Tony, I love it when Tavoy scores in a match early. No surprise, he wound up with 3.
Yeah, Tavoy really looks like a different Tavoy Morgan than we saw last year, especially at home. And he's really enjoying his role. And he even spoke to Melissa after the match and spoke about how everything is coming together. The defensive effort, it's helping the midfield, who then is helping him do letting him do some of these great, just contributing ways in the Sockers, because he's playing really, really, really well, even when he's not scoring.
Speaking of playing really well, Boris Pardo was off to a great start right away, but here's one goal conceded, and this is just a Nick Pereira specialty right here. The consecutive soul rolls, followed by the back heel, use of that 6'3" frame to ward off one of the best defenders in the league, Mitchell Cardenas, and then just creating that inch of space. And Ramos is a right-footed player, so he put a left-footed boot into the top bins here. This is just a great goal for Tacoma overall.
Yeah, and you can definitely see that Tacoma has played the Sockers a couple times, and they have some sort of attack and strategy when it comes to it. But overall, the Sockers prepared very differently, as Phil Salvaggi was saying, for every single match. So this was no different.
Now, the other story, of course, on the night was milestone watch, because Chris Toth of the Stars was 4 saves away from having the MASL all-time record. Here was his first big save of the night. He needed 4. Meanwhile, Craig Childs needed 2 points to get to 400 in his MASL career. We will see the 1 point he got a little bit later. But really, especially when you watch back through this, Boris Pardo stands up at the beginning of this match to make sure that there's no error along the way. Like, these aren't plus bonus saves, but critical saves, the right saves, just getting the job done was huge for this club.
And those saves have consequences, right? Like, these saves then lead to a counterattack for the Sockers, or they lead to something that leads to a blue card, or a chance that Tacoma has to foul and just give the Sockers a breather. But it starts from the back. And if it wasn't for Boris, I don't know how this game would have gone early on. It wouldn't have been maybe that end score line, but Boris just became a different animal in that first half.
Absolutely. You saw within Eddie Trujillo's recap there, Sockers got away with a too many men on the field penalty in the first quarter, and then get the lead back. And this was, I think, a really underrated play by Brandon Escoto. Just to have the recognition to see the ball in the air, simultaneously see his target down there and say, I don't have to take a touch. I don't have to bring this ball down and control it. I'm going to go directly into a pass, and then Tavoy knows what to do with it. But before we say anything else, let's talk about this. Goal of the year? So dirty. So dirty. Drew Ruggles. Why you got to do him like that, Drew?
Oh, it's just as pretty as it gets. Like, that's pure poetry in motion. You don't need to rifle it in. You don't need to muscle somebody off. No, just a simple tap in, knowing where the spaces are. And you know what? If it didn't go in, what a great effort. But when it does go in, man, it's sweet.
Yeah, and I see Kay Vibbard say, it was a cheeky goal, but maybe Charlie's was the goal of the game. And I get it. And there's different styles. One of the things I truly love about soccer, Tony, sure, there's different kinds of home runs in terms of an arcing home run or a line drive homer, but they all go over the fence. Like, in soccer, you can smash it 100 miles an hour, or you can lob it over the keeper, but sometimes just the precision and the confidence to be able to make a cheeky play is the difference in anything.
And the speed of play for Drew Ruggles, and even you were talking about Escoto, it seems like everything is just a millisecond slower, and they see the field differently. And that's when you don't need to be sprinting all over the place. And you sometimes get just finesse in expressive, man, it's like a Baroque painting. I'm just in awe of it.
Hey, we just saw 4-1 on a Leo power play goal, which goes off of Corey Keats' heel. And I just want to say, because I had to apologize in the last show for casting a broadcasting spell to get Justin Stinson going. How about it, Tony? I put Corey Keats in the open, said he scores every time he comes to town. And look, he scored again.
You weren't wrong. The streak continues.
Yeah. So my powers can work for good and evil. As it turns out, I just need to control them better. And I'm working with Professor Xavier to get that done. End of the second quarter. This is really where Boris Pardo comes to shine. And we're about to see him watch this deflect. The reaction, Tony, that's a goal 9 out of 10. Now we're going to see him deny Pereira on the doorstep momentarily, but to stop a deflection shot like that is special.
Yeah, and that's one of those skills that, as you're getting older as a goalkeeper, sometimes they deteriorate, the reflexes. And that's not happening with Boris. He's getting it done in so many different ways. Much like you're saying, a goal can be scored in different ways. A save can come from any direction. And it's something that, if done right on once, it's great. But he kept doing it in this particular matchup over and over and over again.
Here is Guerrero Pino scoring. Lovely counter, half-field counter, 3v1. Gabriel Costa makes the right decision to send in Pino clean on this play. Absolutely outstanding recognition. And to put this one in, this was the goal. We talked about it on the broadcast, Tony. The goal that really set this game up for San Diego. If they come out and concede early 4-2, could be a different match. And what I really appreciate about Saturday night's match is, even though we see this beautiful goal from Alessandro Canale, individual effort, sick, absolutely great. Yeah. Another goal of the week candidate. Soccer's never let Tacoma feel like they were really in this game after the first quarter.
Yeah, it seems like the Sockers have hit a different gear, and obviously seeing Tacoma now for the third time, you have a recognition of the play style, and obviously Nick Pereira being as great as he is, but once you see him enough times, you start to know what his patterns are in trying to lay off the ball with his teammates, so you can cut those passes earlier. But yeah, no, they never let off the gas. And I was waiting for that third quarter where the Sockers just maybe let them back in the game, but that just never happened. And I'm very glad to have seen that.
By this point in the match, of course, Chris Toth had already picked up his 4th save and become the saves leader. He then decided to just make it his life's goal to deny Craig Giles his 400th point. Chris had a fine game. It wasn't like one of his best games. And there's a great goal by Charlie Gonzalez. As Kay Vibbert said, maybe that was the goal of the match from a purely aesthetic. I disagree. I love Ruggles' goal. I mean, this is just a really high skill goal right there. This is a high skill goal by Charlie Gonzalez. Terrific goal. I don't know. I'm going to vote Ruggles every time.
Yeah, if I was to vote on which one's better, I think it'd be Ruggles. If I was a player, I'd rather score Ruggles' goal than Chadley's goal right there.
Here's Craig's chance for 400. No, Chris Toth says no. Chris Toth refuses. It's really rude. If you think about it. I mean, come on, Chris. We gave you your record. Nonetheless, here's the cookie goal. Charlie Gonzalez scores. Cravery cookies for everybody. 7+ goals in the Sockers home match. Cravery cookie coupon. Redeemable in Point Loma location or San Diego State. I'll be going to the San Diego State location to redeem some Cravery cookie coupons, probably tomorrow with my son. And, the best thing is, Tony, you get those Cravery cookie coupons. You don't drive to the store, walk in and go, "Hi, I'd like 1 free cookie, please." You always buy a couple more. You buy a couple more. Toth, why you got any trials like that? Come on.
Yeah, no, that was honestly, you can tell there was some frustration in Craig because he knew he was close. He knew he's 1 away, and the team also was trying to look for him, and it just wasn't working out for whatever reason. And man, like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. You can't rush these things. And got to 399. He'll get in there in due time.
Sockers got another power play in the 4th quarter. San Diego perfect on their power plays, even though Tavoy had some golden chances for a hat trick. He'll get it. Just stay patient, Tavoy. You'll get it. There it is. Time to dance. The hat trick for Tavoy. We're starting to see, I think, Tony, what we had hoped to see with this San Diego Sockers power play. I still think it even has room to grow, gain efficiency, and get better. But, and as Eddie Bear asks, how talented are the Sockers? Right now, no room for Brandon Escoto on the power play? Well, when you're doing as well as this group is, it's kind of hard. And Costa is showing, Leo is showing. Who are you going to take out? You going to take out one of those guys? It's a tough call. They've got a lot of talent for the man advantage.
Yeah, numbers don't lie right now, especially comparing these power play goals compared to what they were averaging last season. And that's something that was asked of for this team, is to really tidy that up. And as you said, there's still room for improvement, but it's just a matter of identifying exactly which ways and what players are going to go ahead and attack in those scenarios. And again, it's a work in progress, but I think the Sockers are in a really good spot right now.
Just to wrap up this highlight reel, we see the Christian Gutierrez empty net goal, and that seems like mostly unimportant and the end of a common dub for the San Diego Sockers. I'll tell you what, this might be one of the bigger goals of the season, Tony, because this is one of your goal scorers, Christian Gutierrez. We're going to get to watch Ruggles here one more time. Hang on. I celebrate his entire catalog. This is so pretty. Remember, he had the gumption to make $1 million behind the back pass in the TST final to get the clinching goal. This kid's got chutzpah. I absolutely love everything we see from this guy. But hey, a complete win for the San Diego Sockers, a 9-3 victory. And I was mentioning Christian Gutierrez, 22 goals last year, 17 in the 4th quarter or overtime. This is a big player for San Diego. And he's had seasons, Tony, in the past where he got off to a slow start and didn't hit the net on his first few chances and stopped taking chances. And we want Christian Gutierrez to put his right boot through the ball. We want him to be Golden Gutierrez and have those opportunities. And in order to do that, you got to have confidence. So I don't mind an empty netter, just like if a guy's in an 0 for 22 slump in baseball and they get a little crack bat duck snort over the second baseman's head that dumps into the green for a base hit. Like, hey, I like that because you saw the ball hit the turf. You saw yourself get a hit. Now you get that confidence. I feel like that could be the case for Christian too.
Yeah, and again, it's a matter of when he's going to go ahead and peak too, because you have this array of goal scorers of attacking options, and yeah, they are getting it done absolutely. But if it comes down to it later in the season where somebody has an injury or somebody needs a little bit of rest, then that's when Gutierrez is starting to peak on his own. Then that's going to be ideal for the soccer season in general, because again, if Gutierrez is having 1, 2 goals chipping at it, but then he explodes closer to the postseason when things are getting a little bit more uh, uh, difficult and tight as far as margins of error, then that's definitely going to be a good time for him to step up. But I agree with you. That's something that needs to happen. The account needs to be opened, and Gutierrez took that one to the bank.
Absolutely. Just a couple other tags on this. I know for soccer's fans, this is routine. It's not routine in sports. After the match, the soccer's players literally didn't even go to the locker room. They first went around the pitch to individually take pictures and sign autographs for fans who were hanging over the low barrier and interacting, having those, player fan connections. And then they all sat down at a row of card tables for about an hour. I mean, you saw it. It was, they didn't get up at like, oh, there's 30 minutes. Now there's 20 minutes. Sorry, you're cut off. No, they waited till the last person in line got every single autograph they needed, every single picture, every single connection, every single conversation. It all happened. I mean, I was just talking in my other line of work about another franchise that I won't name, that they're afraid to put their winning player on the post-game show for 2 minutes. Because what if they say no? Or what if? And the Sockers are there to connect with their fans every single match, whether we have a post-match autograph session or whether we don't. So I continue to be impressed by the way these guys, and I know they don't make $30 million a year. I know they don't make $68 million a year like Shohei Ohtani will make when he's retired, or whatever Lionel Messi is making from Miami. But these guys still put their all into a match for well over 2 hours, something they've planned for all day, and then sit down for another hour just for fan service. I'm continuously impressed by this.
Yeah, and that's just the culture of the San Diego Sockers through and through, right? You do have some newcomers coming in with Ruggles and Costa that they know they automatically don't even question it. They're some of the first ones to get down there. I mean, you saw Ruggles just isn't afraid to be himself. He's really enjoying being a San Diego Soccer, and that's part of it, right? Just really being part of the community and backing your fans when they're getting yelled at, when the opposing team is maybe being a little bit mean to some of our friends, and Cowboy and Gabe next to their bench because they're being a little bit too loud. But honestly, that's beautiful to see, and it continues to really show why the San Diego Sockers are the epitome of what a sports franchise should be here in San Diego, and they get it done on and off the field, and I love to see that.
So now things start to get tougher, and we'll talk about it a little more at the end of the show. Tony, we'll talk about Sunday's match against Texas, but the Sockers have had one of their 4 weekend interstate back-to-backs. They knocked that out. That's great. Then they got a whole holiday break off, and then a 1-match weekend, and then this coming weekend, a 1-match weekend, as cushy as it gets. But that's going to light the fuse on the bottle rocket for the San Diego Sockers 2024 portion of their schedule, because now it is the 7th against Texas, and then the 11th, a holy cow, we have to do this up in Anaheim futsal exhibition at the Anaheim Convention Center against Empire Strikers, where one team has 100 billion times more motivation than the other team for the MASL Pro Indoor Cup. How are we going to handle it, Tony, if Empire sends their A team against the kids, like our college draft and the kids that we've signed to our club, and beats us on a futsal court and then acts like we won the indoor cup? Like, I'm going to have to struggle with that.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a trophy that is it really going to mean a lot to us if we win it? I mean, it'll be good to, I guess, have that and nobody else, and especially Empire, but you just know that's going to happen, and they're not going to stop with reigning, defending Cup champions, Empire Strikers, who now host the team that wants revenge, the San Diego Sockers.
Right.
That we're the underdog, right? Like, they've always wanted it. Undefeated in this tournament, Empire
Undefeated, the all-time futsal dominant Empire Strikers. Look, I don't want to lose the Strikers ever, but if we lose in the 11th, it's fine. But then the 13th is at Tacoma. The 14th is versus Chihuahua at home. So there's our second interstate back-to-back. And it'll wrap up the 17th with Empire on the road. So home date, Texas, meaningless exhibition, but players are going to play in it. Flight to Tacoma, game on the 13th, flight home, the biggest game of the year so far on the 14th. It's a gauntlet. It's an absolute gauntlet, and the Sockers are going to have to walk through it over the course of the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, definitely. And that recovery period is definitely something that's incredibly important. We saw the turnaround when they had to fly over to Texas and come back in 8 quarters in 24 hours, something that's absolutely brutal in any sport, let alone soccer, man. Like the indoor game is, sometimes people I know see it and they say, oh, it's a smaller field. No, because it's a smaller field, it's more difficult and it's tiresome and it's harder to sometimes recover. And the joints and the knees, las articulaciones, take a little bit longer to heal. And then you have to fly over. And I mean, there's a reason these are all professional athletes and perform at such a peak elite level.
All right, it's the bottom of the hour, Tony. We have recapped a big win for the San Diego Sockers. We are now ready to welcome in our special guest. He is one of the top strikers in the Major Arena Soccer League. He is our number 9. He was an MASL Elite 6 in 2022-23 or 21-22. Got a sneaking suspicion he might be right back there on the first team in 2023-24. One of our dear friends and one of the $1 million winners from TST and Newtown Pride FC, the one and only Tavoy Morgan, is joining us live on Soccer's Overtime. Tavoy, your smiling face puts a smile on my face every time I see it. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. Happy New Year's. Hey, Tony. Thanks for having me.
It's great to see you, my friend, and thanks on behalf of absolutely everybody in our audience that's thanking you in the chat as well for being here. Let's start off real nice and easy. It was a great win on Saturday night, 9-3. You got the hat trick. You got the chance to celebrate. What were your thoughts, now just a couple days back, on how the team came together on Saturday night?
First, we did want to get the win to end the year, going into the new year. And for sure, we were prepared for this one, knowing that we got to get a rhythm going into the new year. So it was just all from training ground. It started for that game. So it was good to get that win.
Love it. No, and it's great seeing you have that smile and have that confidence about you. And you're off to a great start this season. Talking about that confidence, how are you feeling right now? I mean, you got the hair going, you got the moves going, you got everything going, it seems, to at the beginning of the season, Tavoy.
Yeah, it started with coach and the new players that we get. And I have Leo, Charlie, I have players that like to pass the ball. So I'm really happy in the situation I'm in. Every game, I just have to be in the open spot and just finish my chances.
It's been so fun to watch you, Tavoy, because you came to San Diego, and I think you'd agree, is still a young player, right? Young player in your career, young player in the indoor game. And we know your natural talent. We saw that shine in the COVID season when you came over and we won that first championship. But you're now 4 or 5 years into your indoor career. I'm wondering, what do you feel you've learned about playing the target position? Whether it's from Craig, whether it's from other players as you've grown, what do you feel you've learned that you're better at now that you weren't before?
I'm still learning at that time. I'm still learning from my captain because every target play different. So I'm just want to be different from everybody else. As you know, I'm learning to use the boards more when balls go to the boards and stuff cause I like ball at my feet. So I'm just have to get used to that more. That's it.
No, love that. And I'm speaking of targets, right? Somebody who finds you very often is the Brasileiro, Leonardo de Oliveira. So what's your connection with Leo, and why do you guys click so well and so much on and off the field?
Uh, I don't know. It's just the heart, you know. We both have a good heart. Just good spirit. Our teammates. I know we band on and off the field. You know, I look up to him. He look up to me. He push me. So that's what I like with him mostly. You know, he push me. Say, "Come on, boy." You know. So I like that. Off the field is we live neighbor. We neighbors. So I go to him. I get food, stuff like that. So the connection is good. I liked it.
Yeah, man. When I see the two of you, whether it's on the practice pitch, whether it's in the locker room, I just kind of feel like these are two brothers from another mother.
Yeah, yeah. I told him that we brothers, you know, from another mother. So yeah.
Hey, Tavoy, let's talk about team defense. I think through the first three matches of the year, hey, Sockers are 3-0. We love it, but 6 goals, 7 goals allowed. Certainly Boris not feeling it. Defenders not feeling where the team was. I know you guys came out of that Dallas match
Yeah.
almost feeling like you lost it, even though you did win it. And since then, 3 goals allowed, 3 goals allowed. What do you think about this team's commitment to defense and how it's been able to get back to it the last couple games?
In the beginning, Mitchell played the first game and got hurt. Cause Mitchell is a big part for us in the defense. And P, also, Drew we're a little bang. So it's all started from Boris, the talking and stuff. From the midfield, Serta also there covering up. I mean, we're just getting started. This is the new year, and we talk about it. So we just get in a rhythm. As you can see, we only give up 3 goals the other day. So that's our goals for the rest of the year. No more than 3.
Love that. And we've been hearing that from some other players too. That same number, three goals, no more. You should be in a good
Yeah.
place. And talking about the new year, the first match is going to be the Sunday. The Texas Outlaws are coming into town. One of the only 2 teams to beat the Sockers last season. What are you expecting from this match against the Texas Outlaws?
I know they're going to come full force, and we're going to be ready for that. We have all the weapons, and we take it from practice. But we know they got Vinny and stuff, but they have to also worry about us because we are home. We don't lose at home, so we take care of home. So they have to worry about us. We just got to just do our stuff in practice and come out and prepare.
Just following up on that, Tavoy, a couple of the kids who I think are really making their name in this sport are David Ortiz, Sebastian Mendez. Those are a couple of kids who were at TST, different clubs, but still they were at that tournament, same as you guys. They've shown their ability in the league. Ortiz, flashy, sometimes controversial. Mendez, good shot, good passing. Now they've got Morales, they've got Dantas, they've got some guys who can finish it as forwards. But just what are your thoughts on those young players coming in, kind of, making a name for themselves?
I mean, honestly, they good. I'm not gonna lie, they good. But we are gonna be a matchup for them for sure. So they're gonna see the test that they needed. It's just like Casey, who beat them the one game. So it's gonna be a test for them with us, and also for us too. It's a big game, so we don't want to lose our first game in the new year. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And, getting ready for this week ahead, the 2 weeks that you have are very heavy when it comes to travel, when it comes to games and matchups. How are you preparing for this? And what are you expecting for this next couple of weeks moving forward in the new year?
We just have to stay healthy, take care of our body. Paul Savage doing a great job as always, every day in practice. Coach doing a good job, make sure that we don't overwork our body and stuff like that. So we really prepare and focus for these couple of days coming up for the games. I know we're gonna have some tough back-to-back games, but it's all on our body, our mind. So coach make sure that we all stay focused. And Paul Savage, so it's good for us.
Paul Savage. Can't say him enough. Team MVP, Paul Savage. Before we let you go, Tavoy, let's dig into the big topic, dancing. This is something that is near and dear to your heart. You're very, very good at it. You're an
Yeah.
outstanding dancer. You love to dance. So
Yeah.
do you think is it I'm curious about process. All right. From one artist to another, I'm very curious about process. Are you someone who like early in the morning thinks like, well, what if I score my first goal, I'm going to do this, but if I score my second goal, I'm going to do that? Or is it entirely spontaneous? Is it all off the top of your head? Like, where do the moves and machinations come from?
From the locker room. Honestly, it came from the locker room. We mess around. Then I came up with something. All right, this is cool. And then all right, if I score, we're going to do this. So I tell players to join me when I score, so they understand. I show them the move. But it started from Jamaica. The way the Jamaicans we warm up. We have a lot of dance group in Jamaica. So I used to be a dancer when I was young. So I have a lot of moves. Doesn't matter the music, I could still dance to it. I still have the moves. So I just trying to get my teammates into that mood, like get fans smiling, show them you can dance, just let it out.
So I think you have a lot of great dance partners. I noticed that you tried to recruit Guerrero Pino into a dance at one point.
Yeah. No, Pino need more class.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, Tavoy, man, you are one of the bright lights in the league. You're a dear friend. It is so great to have you here in San Diego. You're such a critical part of this club. Thank you for just being you, but also thank you for your time here tonight. Can't wait to see you out Sunday at the field.
Yeah, thank you. Happy New Year to my fans and everyone. Stay safe. Have a blessed year. Thank you.
Take
Craig.
care, my friend.
Thank you, Tony.
Have a good one.
Absolutely. At Tavoy_Balla, Balla, on Instagram.
I'm
the
wondering
great Tavoy Morgan.
if I'm allowed to dance. I'm playing this in the soccer's halftime show, and we'll get to it here. But like, should I take one of his moves? Should I make a move of my own when I make a stop and then show it to him? And maybe I'm better dancer than Guerrero Pino already. I don't know. Well,
okay, so now it's tough because you're a keeper. So like it's hard to like make a save, do a dance, the ball goes in behind you because you're dancing, and you're like, so what? I'm dancing. But if you could maybe save one over the glass, like save one for a corner or something, at that point, the dance is 100% on. It's absolutely on.
I'm down. Hopefully somebody's good enough to put one there where I can get, well, okay. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Are you sure you want that hardest shot coming in? Like, really think this through a little bit. I see a lot of support in the chat for a Tony Sanchez dance on Sunday. So I think now we're definitely leaning towards this. It's just a matter of like, maybe if you make the save and the ball goes down the other side of the field, right? Get out to the top of the D, do a couple moves in the top of the D.
I have 5 seconds to do whatever I want with that ball, barring the refereeing decisions that we have. It's not really the most sanctioned game at times, but okay, like I see people really wanting it. I'll think of something.
Are you going to follow Marleish's advice and just make a save, chuck the ball into the stands, and use that time for dancing?
As long as I get on the big screen and get that as a highlight, and we can play it here, I think I'll muster something up. Yes, I hope. Yeah, give me 10 seconds, Vassal. I will have a whole dance routine. Or I'll just do half of the Smooth Criminal dance for Michael Jackson. I used to be able to know how to do that.
Are you going to lean all the way down and come all the way back?
Ankles don't do that, and they had, different shoes, but I'll think of something. I'm a good dancer, but it's funny when I dance because I'm a good dancer. It's just like, how is he moving like that? Almost like in goal, like how is he doing that?
How does he do it?
He's not supposed to do that.
I'm not at a loss for words. I'm just amazed. Okay, great stuff from Tavoy. Great stuff early in the show. Let's get to it. Let's get to the segment that makes us the show of record in the MASL. It's time for MASL news. It's time to talk about the league. Just Saturday, being at the arena before the match, hearing from people. Everyone tunes in, man.
Yeah, they do. And they listen.
Whole league tunes in. Whole league tunes in. Just in case, do I dare mention their team? What's he going to say now? All right. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the East. Not much happened in the West last weekend, honestly. Chihuahua was off. Tacoma played Empire. Strikers fall to 1-5. We'll talk about them in a little bit, but I think the action was in the East. Kansas City played a home and home against St. Louis. This is a normal thing, the Missouri Derby. And, Kansas City wins pretty convincingly at home. They go to St. Louis Family Arena. It's 6-5. It's a pretty close match, but they still win it. Kansas City wins twice. Kansas City up to 6-1 on the season. I would say, Tony, that knowing what we know about the MASL and the way MASL voters vote, I think Zach Reggett's got the inside track to MASL MVP.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good action happening across the league, and based on what you're saying, again, of how the voting usually goes and how biased or unbiased it is against goalkeepers, I think that, that's something that the league's going to take notice of, and those votes tend to usually go to those performing very well on the offensive side, regardless of how celestial of a being Boris Pardo may be. No, he's a goalkeeper. He doesn't score the goals. They're not on the highlight packages. People don't, pay to see the stops, I guess, but it's a shame. But again, really good stuff happening across the board, and it'll be interesting because there's other players that are popping off in other teams around the league as well.
Sure. And if we're just going to give the Golden Boot the MVP, then you just have to right away say Luis Morales, because he's off to a tremendous start for Texas. And if our league is so basic that we just look at the top point scorer and say, well, that must be the MVP, even if he's on a 500 team or a losing team or a fourth place team, which we kind of do every year, then great. Maybe Luis Morales is the inside track. Of course, if the Sockers hold him to 1 goal or no goals and beat Texas like a drum, voters just won't notice that at the end of the year. And I'll just say what I always say. I believe in the NBA version of this, which is who's the best player on the best team. And that should be the automatic favorite for MVP, not who led the league in scoring. Who's the best player on the best team? And that's not the direction the league goes. This is not a diss of Zach Reggett. I don't, in case someone in Kansas City is watching this and like, oh, they said something. No. Zach Reggett is doing great. And I see Callan in the chat bring it up, but I absolutely think a change of scenery has done a world of good for Zach Reggett. We heard all of the nonsense that took place in Florida with Zach, and it was not fair to the player. And then the exile to Harrisburg for a couple of games, and finally the trade that sent him to Kansas City. He's in the right place. He's excelling. He's in the prime of his career. He is playing terrific. I mean, that goal he had where he warded off the defender and swung into the lefty kick, that was gorgeous. And then did push-ups. Like, he's killing it. Zach Reggett's killing it. I love it. I appreciate it. And I really think, a ton of credit to Kansas City, Tony. They had over 5,000 at Cable Dahmer Arena, like a real 5,000, not a fake announced 5,000 like some teams do for their game. They're winning on and off the field. Right now, I think Kansas City is the class of this league in terms of the total package on and off the field, getting the job done, exciting, a big-time sports community that's got plenty of major league teams, and really racking in the attendance. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, you have to be happy for the health of the league because of those numbers. I was looking at it at the beginning of the season. I'm like, oh, well, usually the Sockers have some decent averages here and there, but then you see the numbers that Kansas City's pulling off on that blue turf, and it's rather impressive, especially with the options. And I know other teams here in San Diego locally like to say, well, people have the Padres to choose from. They have this to choose from. Why would they come? People are coming and watching MASL action, and they're doing something right over there. So again, kudos to what's happening over in Kansas City with the Comets.
I'm seeing some really smart comments in the chat, and I'm going to address those momentarily. So Kansas City, beat St. Louis twice. They're up to 6-1. UCFC beats Harrisburg twice. Utica City up to 6-0. They've got one more win than the Sockers so far. They're the current Shield holders on the live standings table at 6-0. And they beat Harrisburg a couple of times. And, no disrespect to the capital seat of the great state of Pennsylvania and the fine denizens thereof, nor the folks who come to the Farm Show Equine Complex Arena to watch Harrisburg play. Love it. Great stuff. But Utica beat them, and Harrisburg isn't having a good year at all so far, just like the last almost every year. And hey, big credit to Utica. They're getting the job done. Frank has 3 goals, 2 assists in that game. We haven't seen the King go off yet, but they've had scoring from other places. The kid Ronaldinho Denise has been very good. The UCFC is winning. The Blues are winning without Gordy, doing massive contributions to the team, Gordy Gerson. So, hey, big shout out to the Blues. Utica City doing well, again, off the field as well and on the field.
Yeah, they're actually one of the teams that I'm keeping an eye on because they just seem so fun to the way they play and the way that they're doing things over there, especially what happened last season and how they rallied together to make it into the playoffs. They were a really solid team at the end of the season, and so it's good to see them carry that into this new year with the new pieces that they have at their disposal.
So now I ask the question, is there any reason for me to change my mind about saying that Monterey is the favorite in the East?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think there's enough of a sample size where you can put these teams at their best head to head and really see Monterey take that leap forward. But it's very possible, especially with the talent that they have, the play style that they're excelling in. And obviously, they've had some very impressive results, Monterey, but I mean, again, maybe that a change of scenery, right? We were talking about it earlier with Reggett. Maybe that change of scenery is enough to make sure that they are absolutely dominant over there. But I think they will hold that spot for now.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you and agree with my own question. So far, Monterey has played the toughest schedule in the league. They've gone to Milwaukee and won, and they have won a home and home against Chihuahua. No one else has done anything close to that. So, I take the 22-7 match, completely throw it out the window in terms of, rating Monterey because that game is irrelevant. But honestly, the Flash have played good teams. And just like Kay Vibbard says, who has Utica played? They've played Baltimore and Harrisburg. Who has Kansas City generally played? St. Louis, these other clubs. So if if Kansas City beats Monterey, if Utica beats Monterey, obviously it's a completely different story and we'll reshuffle. But right now I got to put Monterey on top. And honestly, I think it's pretty solidly so still.
Yeah, no. And again, I do like that. We'll wait till that Monterey Utica City, because again, the tide could turn in that sense. But when it comes to longevity and the talent and the depth that Monterey has, I think they're more set up and built for the long-term success than Utica is potentially. There's still question marks there of prove me wrong. They're in prove me wrong territory, and they're proving people wrong. They're shutting mouths up. But let's see how long that stays that way.
And hey, look, when you kind of look at the overall calculus of the year, the fact that Monterey and Chihuahua play each other 4 times, and they're going to play each other twice this weekend again, they're going to have 4 straight results against one another. That's nothing but great for teams like San Diego and Utica and Kansas City because, hey, Monterey has won twice already. If Monterey wins twice again this weekend, the Sockers' path to the Western title is wide open. Wide open. They could lose to Chihuahua twice and still be right there as long as they took care of business against Texas. Not to say that the Sockers are going to lose to Chihuahua twice, just to say that the path would be wide open for the team. And, Texas is tough on their home floor, that lumpy, bumpy field at Mesquite Arena, with the weird crowd and everything and the low walls, the bouncy turf. It's a tough place to play, but I still personally am not going to change my conviction. I think Chihuahua's the second best team in the West, and I think that Monterey is the best team in the East. And I think that's going to play itself out over the course of 24 matches. And as Susan says in the chat, hey, even the Sockers have mostly played Tacoma, Empire, Dallas on the road. So we're going to look at these next couple of weeks as a much bigger temperature or litmus test for the Sockers to see, can you take care of business? Texas at home, you should take care of business. You should handle this team. You've handled them every time in the past. Can you handle them again? And then you get the Tacoma road, Chihuahua home. Can you get through that with another 2-0? If you get that, now the path is wide open for the Shield, for home field advantage, for all of that. Monterey is lurking, man. And if they sweep Chihuahua again, you have to really think about the odds of Monterey maybe going 24-0.
Yeah. Yeah. They have that set up ready to go. And I mean, we've seen the Sockers, at least this season, in a couple of small instances, improve in ways that I wasn't expecting, where it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe the power plays will be a little bit better, but no, they're again, shutting mouths up and doing it right. And I think that needs to happen a little bit more when it comes to these, trap games per se, where they just need to get it done. And they do, because we were waiting for it on this last road trip. They traveled all the way to Texas, played Dallas, and we're like, they might drop some points. Hopefully they come back from this weekend with 6, but if they don't, it's going to be fine. But hopefully they do. And they did. They got all the points they were available, and they move on, and they've been healthy. Now they're recovering a little bit now with Michel Cárdenas. And I think if like you're saying, if Monterey keep this pace up, it's going to be, concerning in a way where it's exciting.
Couple other notes here. Strikers lose to Tacoma, fall to 1-5. Just a couple of things that I've been, little Tweety birds out there. First things first, don't expect to see Lucas Roque or William Venzella or Max Ferdinand in an Empire Strikers uniform anytime soon. I think Lucas Roque got one look at what's going on and buggered out. And he's in Florida with his family, and they're talking about it's a family matter as if it's something to be resolved. Happily prove me wrong, but I don't think we're going to see anything. I see K Vibbert, and he's brought it up twice in the chat. I personally haven't heard anything about Monterrey's Eric-Yon Ponce coming to Empire. I'm not sure he's a visa'd player, although he has been in the United States in the past. If they got him, he'd be a huge help to them. He's I think 36 now, but Eric-Yon Ponce is a good player. He's solid. He can have the ball at his feet. He can create. He can be a forward. So, I mean, the Strikers need somebody. They did a great job moving Stefan Mijatovic up to forward from defender, Tony. He got a couple of goals, had a chance at a third. I mentioned that to Paul Wright when I saw him at the Sockers match. I'm like, hey, good move moving Stefan up. Good coaching move. And he's like, yeah, but now we need him in the back. Like, consider cloning Stefan Mijatovic. This might be a great strategy for your franchise. But I kind of want to stick up for Paul a little bit. Like, it's a tough situation up there in Empire, and I feel like they're setting him up to fail a little bit. And I hope that's not the case. I'm just really excited to see a new direction for the Empire Strikers franchise, and I'm a little bummed in some of the things I've read and some of the things I've heard in terms of what's happening in that franchise in regards to Paul. I think you got to give Paul a chance to set a culture. I don't think you can talk about 1-5 and be like, oh, well, now we know things aren't going right. Like, dude, you were going to be 1-5 no matter who was your coach right now, or maybe 0-6. It wasn't a matter of like, oh, well, if we had Jimmy instead of Paul, we'd be this or that. Like, no. The club is where it's at, and give this man who's got more indoor knowledge than their entire roster put together, give him a chance to cook and to install a culture, install a system, and see it come to light. I'd like to see that for Empire, maybe just because Paul's a personal friend. I don't know, but I feel like some of the things I read, even just in their own team release, being like, well, now at 1-5, we're going to have a hard time making the playoffs. Guys, what are you doing? I know this is the franchise that brought us #championship bound, but like, what are you doing? Like, come on, level set properly, you know?
Yeah, and you know, you're not really doing yourself a favor because you're shining this giant light and putting the pressure, even if it's off the field with the Marco Fabian signing. Like, it's something that did draw attention and it did put eyes on this team. You're sending them over to Clipper games to swap jerseys, and you have this expectation of, well, this was going to go ahead and improve, you know, give us an extra 15 wins that we wouldn't have otherwise, but that wasn't going to be the case anyway. And I see that pain again. I study what the great team over there does for color commentary, Philly, Panda, y El Doctor. And you know, you feel that you feel they're obviously, you know, not happy about what's going on and what they have to commentate over because you'd rather do successful winning games. But it's a situation that I don't know how one gets out of it. And as far as you're in with Paul, it's really tough to see the human aspect kind of be managed in that way. And hopefully they're able to turn it around somehow. I mean, 1-5 isn't a death sentence, I'd say, as opposed to what they're saying it is and just throwing their arms already. But you know, again, for the health of the league and for the health of the rivalry in general, right? Diamonds cut diamonds, but you know, diamonds also cut through Play-Doh.
Okay, that's the first time I heard that, and I like it. I like it. Diamonds do cut through Play-Doh, Tony. Like right through. There's like,
yep, no give.
I used to get you know, there used to be these things called newspapers and Sunday morning cartoons. And the thing about Play-Doh used to be when I was a kid is that you got it out and you'd flatten it out and then you'd press it down on the Sunday morning cartoon and there would be an ink transfer. And then you'd peel it up and you'd have like a reverse of whatever it was, Dennis the Menace or whatever. Kathy, I don't know. I'm trying to think of those old comic strips. And you'd have that on the Play-Doh and be like, whoa. Can you imagine, Tony, how it was for children my age back in the dark ages when there was no internet and no Photoshop? This is what we did for fun.
I'm old enough to be a part of the analog phase and a little bit longer because I grew up in Tijuana and I got marbles, I got the tops, I got the yo-yos, I got our version of that in the 90s was when they came out with the impressions that you can put for toast and you can put Goofy on your toast. And it was just the burnt image of Goofy on it. But it was the same kind of concept. We didn't have Play-Doh over there. Unfortunately, it was.
Well, no, look, the chat has corrected me, and they're 100% right. It was Silly Putty that you did the transfer on, not Play-Doh. I'm wrong. I played with both as a kid, okay, and I conflated the two. So I do apologize. I'd like to apologize to the Silly Putty Company. I'd like to apologize to all fans everywhere worldwide who celebrate Silly Putty and its ability to transfer ink. And recognize that it wasn't Play-Doh. So, I mean, you could try with Play-Doh, and I probably did. But Play-Doh's more expensive, it doesn't work for sure. But it is Silly Putty. They're 100% right. It is Silly Putty. And
correct. Diamonds also cut through Silly Putty. Just get that clear as well.
Thank you. That brings an end to MASL news. Oh wait, well, one other thing. Baltimore won a game, so. Good on you, Blast. Kind of a Milwaukee fan now because Kelsey, you and me in the chat, we're together now. Wave all the way because except for that one game when San Diego goes to Milwaukee, because Utica seems like a lock. Monterey is a lock. You know, Kansas City is a lock in the East. So there's one spot for Milwaukee or Baltimore, the two most heralded franchises in the East. There's one spot for those two teams. And I'm counting on the Wave to take that so that the Blast miss the playoffs for the first time ever. And I predicted it. And I'm going to stick by it, Tony. I'm riding this horse until it bucks me. B
don't know how-
lost. Never mind the blast. The B lost.
Yeah, no, there's going to be a dartboard in the Baltimore's locker room with just your face.
Just me. It's just
just
me.
you, and just
They're going to crip me from the Annie and Elston clip. They're just going to have me up right in the center of the dartboard. Boom, boom, nailing me in the nose. I understand. It's okay. It's okay. All right. That's MASL news. Let's get to soccer's news. Wrap up the show. Get to the excitement for Sunday. So Sunday, 5 p.m., 5:05 p.m., soccer's Texas Outlaws, soccer's sunglasses being given away while supplies last to all fans in attendance at Pechanga Arena, San Diego. It's a yellow frame. It's got the soccer's script logo on the side there. Great stuff. Absolutely enjoy it. So that's free for you. But the big news, of course, halftime. The annual San Diego Soccer's media game. This is a place where Tony's legend has been born and has grown to almost larger than life, levels at this point, El Senor Sanchez. So while I understand that this is going to be a very exciting, very important night in your life and your career, what are your thoughts right now? We're going to do the media game roster reveal here momentarily. What are your thoughts? Because obviously it's an important match between San Diego and Texas, but what happens in those 8 minutes during halftime? That is the stuff of legends.
So this is going to be a very different year, right? My first year being able to play and being allowed to play in the Grand Old Arena, something I've dreamed of as a little boy. And that's not even, I'm not even kidding. That's 100% true. My training consisted of not Todd Durkin, who was the opposing goalkeeper, and working out for 5 hours and high-fiving Drew Brees' pals and just getting super. I was napping, and I was like, all right, I'm going to get up. And I'm just going to roll out of bed. It's a little bit different this year because I do have responsibilities to go ahead and do color, to help out with the comentarios, and those stairs are unforgiving, Craig, on the way there. And that's my main worry, where I will have, some cortisol built up pre-match, getting up to the booth and getting everything settled at that point. Some of the food has been excellent. Thank you. Thank you, One Kitchen. OKC. They are phenomenal. So that's something that's also worrying me, because if it's too good of a selection, I need to watch what I eat and the amount, just because, again, right, I'm very superstitious, and I need to make sure that I am able to fly around when I need to and not have any sort of stomach issues. And that's absolutely crucial, the time that I eat. And then I also have this giant target by my co-host on Two Balls that I'm Mike and San Diego Punto Football with Chiva, who refuses to believe that he's not going to score on me. And for the past 2 years, he said the same things, that he's going to score, Last year, I handed him a golden opportunity to score, and he hit the crossbar. And then some, hullabaloo happened. The buzzer rang, and then the ball rolled in. Did not count.
Right. Didn't count.
Never
counted.
Never
didn't happen. It literally didn't happen because the buzzer sounded.
Yeah,
so nothing after that matters.
Yeah.
The whole arena could explode. It doesn't matter. The game. Yeah. I mean, I hope it doesn't, but if it did, at least your legend would be secure.
Yeah, exactly. So this is going to be my year. The Grand Old Arena is going to close its doors with the San Diego Soccer's chapter. And this is the final opportunity that not only Chiva will have to score on me, but it's going to cement my legacy as undefeated 3-0 in. I mean, look, that arena is so special. The Rock needed to go yesterday and visit to get that San Diego Soccer's aura into him and just really, make it part of his mana. That's the only reason he showed up in San Diego. Just giving you guys a heads up. But as far as this goes, this is a very, this is my game. Like, I don't play Sunday leagues because this body's a temple, and this temple is only open once a year, and these doors are flying open. I've retired Shannon McMillan. I've retired Darren Smith. I've retired countless other individuals. Darren was actually on my team, but whatever.
You still retired him?
Still retired him. And guess what? Anybody who opposes me this year and is ready to also be retired, good luck, because this is going to be the year that I have my best performance. I've only allowed one goal, and that was to boost the confidence of a couple of individuals coming out of a terrible pandemic. They needed it more than I needed it. I still remember exactly how I went through my legs, and I made sure that I will never go ahead and suffer the embarrassment of letting a goal in the 8 minutes of glory on that legendary, precious, sacred field.
Okay, so I don't know even if I sent this to you, but I've been so behind today. I don't know if you even have the rosters to show this, but would you like to know who's going against you and who's trying to score?
All right.
Okay. I sent this to you. I don't know if you have it to put up. Otherwise, I'll just everyone take notes. Okay.
Yes.
Travis, I know you're out there listening right now. Punk Rock Paint, take notes. Opposing Tony on Team Beto Perez, led by the captain Beto, one of the nation's great, DJs and FM disc jockeys. Beto Perez will have, of course, your foil, the man that you hook up with year after year, the immortal BJ McPherson, one of the great San Diego goals of all time and a media game regular. BJ will be in net against you once again. He's going to try and score on you once again with a throw. It probably won't make it, but nonetheless. BJ is in net. Beto is the captain. Frankie V returns. Frankie's producer, Chris Martinez, who apparently plays soccer.
Oh, okay.
Says he plays soccer. Chris Martinez will be there. He'll be number 25. Put that on your scouting sheet.
Yep. On
25. Of course, the great Scott Lewis, voice of San Diego CEO. Coach Lou will be there. He'll be wearing the number 9. From the Ben and Woods show, my teammates on 97.3 The Fan, Paul Reindl will be there. Big Paulie is out there.
Okay.
Of course, against you is Chiva, because when I put you on the same team, what am I, stupid?
Who?
Of course you're going to be on the opposite team.
Yeah, he betrayed his nation last year and went to the U.S. to play against me. And guess, Mexico had a couple of extra shimmies that night for him. So, all right, that's fine. Let him.
Yeah, so Chiva will be there. From Beer Night in San Diego, Noah Scoville will be against you. From Axios San Diego, Andy Keats, the great Andy Keats, is back. He's going to ask for a Seals lacrosse stick. We're going to deny him that. We're going to tell him he's going to have to score with his feet. I can't wait to see Andy. And he's in the chat. He is harassing you right now. He's trolling you. David Furker will be there. The XL battle, Furker and Sanchez. It's coming.
I welcome the camera on the GoPro on David. I welcome that, just to, again, show a different angle of what you will have the privilege of witnessing on this field. And I'm welcoming the bad juju, because again, I am feeling it. And
you are.
Yeah, I got it.
I love about you, Tony. I'm like, the early moments were much like Desiree. I just fell in love with you. Was when I just saw that confidence. Like, you're a man who rises to the moment. You're not someone who shrinks from the moment. You're a man who rises to the occasion. And I appreciate that about you.
Absolutely. Throw me in the water and I float. That's what happens. Like, literally. So all the way to the top. The cream always rises to the top, and that cream is delicious.
Would you like to know your teammates?
All right. Who am I gonna serve to go ahead and go and score and have the glory? Because I got a cannon, let me tell you, and I'm ready to serve up some assists here.
All right. So I could probably stop with one name on this list. You met him 2 games ago. Andres Jaime Mendez from MASL TV, formerly of Utica City FC. And he is now transferred to the University of Miami, where he's a midfielder. And, with the Hurricanes. Andres Jaime Mendez is on your team, wearing number 19.
Feed him. Got it. That's a hat trick. 8 minutes, hat trick.
Yeah. Last year, Andres was a last-second ringer. Came in wearing his Air Jordans and sweats and scored a goal. So I feel like I've already set you up well because you're my friend. Andres Jaime Mendez is on your team. Also, the great Emor Villa from the Tijuana reporter extraordinaire, a man who's told me that he should have tried out for the Sockers himself. Emor has asked for, requested, and received the number 10. So Emor will be on the club. He is with you. Johnny Richardson from Everything San Diego will be joining you. Eric Fowler, photographer extraordinaire, is joining you. From KFMB, Channel 8, the great Jake Gariani.
Ooh, okay.
Is on your team. From my friends at 97.3 The Fan, my new producer, Braden Soprenant, will be there, along with the producer of Gwen and Chris, Matt Scraby.
Oh, Scrapes. Yes.
Scraby is on your team.
He's actually the reason that I did any of this. Just a side note here is that I saw the hard work that individual put and really followed a dream and inspired me to go ahead and even consider starting any sort of two balls in the mic. Now I'm here with you, Craig, on a Soccer's podcast and invited to ridiculously flaunt my talents as a goalkeeper. And it's a lot to do with that guy. So I'm really happy to serve him up a couple of assists.
And to wrap things up, two of our dear friends from New Media, from the Gwintelligence podcast, the one and only H.J. Preller, and from the Kept Faith, Nick McCann, will be on your team. So it's Sanchez, Richardson, Fowler, Soprenant, Gariani, Villa, Jaime Mendez, Preller, McCann, Scraby for Team Tony. And for Team Beto, it's Beto Perez, BJ McPherson, Frankie V, Chris Martinez, Paul Reindl, Scott Lewis, Chiva, Noah Scoville, Andy Keats, David Furker. What's the Vegas line? What's the Caliente line? I don't know.
I can tell that there's a clear favorite here, but anything can happen. Anything can happen, and I can get 4 goals scored on. I'm not gonna lie, Craig. I forgot this happened up until right now. I had a dream last night preparing for this reveal. And it was over in Mexico, and I was playing indoor soccer where I used to over in Furati and having a great time. And for some reason, I was in a team along with Cesar Cerda and the rest of the San Diego Sockers. Boris was unavailable. Obviously, however, we lost 7-1, and they were all my fault. So I don't know if that's
it was a nightmare. Oh no.
Yeah. And I woke up upset and disappointed. And I don't know, man. Like, this might be the year. This is it. Like, do I get scored on again? Does Chiva score on? Is my undefeated gonna go out the window before the Soccer's undefeated go? I mean, I don't. There's a lot to consider here, but it's gonna be a great time. Somebody that I notice isn't on here, which I'm actually really happy isn't on my opposing team, is Cabana Boy Jeff. Because as much as I have some sort of legend, that man in this game.
So I just want to let you know, thank you for bringing that up. I intended to, but I kind of forgot. Cabana Boy Jeff called me. Of course, he was my first invite. He's always my first invite to the Soccer's media game. The only man to have ever scored a hat trick in a Soccer's media game. Now, was he set up by Salzizo? Yes, he was. Nonetheless, the only player to score a hat trick in a Soccer's media game. And he personally called me. He didn't text or email to let me know that weekend, his daughter has, he's, I guess it's Vanderbilt. She's going to college in Nashville. There might be another university in Nashville, but I think Vanderbilt's the one. Mm-hmm. And they are driving across the country with their daughter to get her set up in Nashville. And so he called to personally express his regrets that he couldn't be at the match because, of course, Tony, I would have put him on the other team because you've got Andres. So, I wanted to have that guy. Now, we're going to count on someone else to be that guy for the opposing team. So is that Chiva? Is this Chiva's time to shine? Is this Chiva's time to say, put the 99 up top in the 9 spot and let 99 in 9? It's going to be a set. Is it Coach Lou? Is it Andy Keats? Who is it out there? Is it Frankie V? Is it Beto? Who's got the boots to put it past the Big T? That is the question that will be answered on Sunday night at the Grand Old Arena. So there it is, the media game reveal. The chat is very pro Tony on this. You know, I do want to give flowers to the other team. Maybe I'll root for them. I don't know. I mean, just for fun. Like maybe I'll root for the other team. But either way, the game will be on. We'll carry it on our halftime match. On our halftime show, as opposed to our great interview with Tavoy or other quality content that the MASL could provide. We'll go ahead and put our own S show out there, and it's going to be an M show, a media show, and it's going to be incredibly fun. So that is coming up. That is the media game reveal. That is the big news. EC Money says Frankie V better score or he's going to stop listening to him. In which market, EC Money? Frankie V's on in like 12 markets around the country. Are you going to stop listening in San Diego? That's fine. He's got listeners in Atlanta, Seattle, Nashville, anywhere else. So I think he's fine. Okay, just a couple other things. Bud Light Nights are coming to the San Diego Sockers home matches. We're going to have 4 Bud Light Nights coming up in upcoming weeks. Very excited for this. The first one is January 27th when the Sockers take on the St. Louis Ambush. But those are going to be $3 Bud Light Saturday nights. Not just always Saturday nights, pardon me. $3 Bud Light Nights. Great stuff. I've got the full list here. Hang on, buddy. Give it to you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. January 27th against St. Louis. February 15th against the Texas Outlaws, San Diego Sports Night. There it is. There it is, brother. March 1st. That is March 1st against Empire. And the final home match at Pechanga Arena ever, March 30th, against the Tacoma Stars. $3 Bud Light Nights. What else can I say? $3 Bud Light Nights. Let's get it happening.
Yeah, no, you really can't beat that. It's one of the perks of Sports Arena has always been in the Pechanga Arena. It's a great time to get out there, whether it's the goals, whether it's anything that's going on. $3 Bud Light Nights is always a great time. Drink responsibly. But that's something that is very much a fun time out, and knock back a couple buds and be amongst buds. You're gonna have a great time.
Absolutely. Or just as an alternative, get an Uber or a Lyft and drink irresponsibly.
There you go.
Because as long as you drive responsibly and get home safely, I don't care what you do. Take advantage, create a beer pyramid, do anything you want. Bud Light Nights. And yes, Kelsey, I know you're going to be there, I think, for the first. So can't wait to see you once again. It's great to have you coming back out. And yes, Calafino Tequila provides $10 margaritas for every home game. So, if you want to go, slightly classier route, you can drink 2 margaritas or you can drink 7 Bud Lights. You'll pretty much get to the same spot.
One will be faster. One will have different results in the morning. Maybe not. Maybe people have better tolerances to some than others. It's fine. There's something for everybody at these San Diego soccer matches.
There truly is. There it is. The Calafino Tequila Margarita Special, $10 at the Concourse Bar. Only at the Concourse Bar. Don't go asking somewhere else. Don't go digging down to the Stella Lounge. They're going to laugh at you. Go to the Concourse Bar. Calafino Tequila, $10 Margarita Specials every single home game. Okay. Futsal match in Anaheim. I know you put that up earlier, but just a reminder, there's only a literal total of 75 tickets for this match. So if you want to go see, if you are an Orange County person, if you're an LA County person, or if you're considering going up to the United Soccer Coaches Convention, you can get a ticket for the Sockers Strikers match, futsal exhibition match. Great way to do it is go to sdsockers.com. That's where you just pulled that link, right?
Correct.
Or you can go to sdsockers.com, buy tickets there. You can call 866-799-GOAL. You can buy tickets there. Buy it from us. Help us out. Buy it from us. If you are planning to go, don't buy it at the convention center or from the Strikers. Buy it from us. But you can do that. And I'm sure we're going to get those 75 tickets sold. Oh, I love what Callan just wrote. He's remember remember the day when the Ontario Fury were the Anaheim Bolts, and the 2 years they played at the Anaheim Convention Center, and that second year they had no glass around the net, and so the ball could just skip over the wall behind the net. And the very first goal the Sockers scored 2 minutes into the game, Anthony Medina was crashing the net, and he scored, and he kind of ran into the goal, and the carpet underneath the goal slid under him, and he surfed. Like, thank God both of his feet were rooted because he surfed on the carpet for like 6 or 8 inches. And I was like, and then I got in trouble because I spent the entire second half talking about how someone was going to get hurt out here, and it's a big mistake and a nightmare. I'll never forget that match. I remember being there and going like, this is the low point of the PASL. Is what I was thinking. Well, and I had been to Turlock, all right? I had been right next to the Tyson chicken demolition factory there, the slaughterhouse in Turlock. And I was in Anaheim going, this is the nadir of the PASL. This is the low point, and we can only go up from here. I imagine it'll be way better at the convention center on the 11th, and I'll be there, by the way. I'm going to be doing my radio show and then immediately trekking up to 15, and I believe me and Philly are going to be on a live broadcast on Twitch for that Futsal Cup. And trust me, man, if they win and he's like, Craigher, give me the news, I'm gonna be like, yeah, you guys scored. It's
good job. Enjoy it. What do you have? Do you have a doctorate in something? Was there something you would consider to have a doctorate in, even if it's not from an academic thing? Like, what would you be a doctor of?
That's a great question. Doctor of destructive commentary? I don't know. Try to figure that one out. Good times. So we've had media game, we've had Bud Light nights, we've got futsal match in Anaheim. Last thing is January 14th, Sockers Chihuahua Savage, 5:05 p.m., one of the biggest matches of the year, but bring your kids out prior to the match because we've got a Sockers skills clinic taking place on the floor at Pechanga Arena from 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. It is a special ticket for this, but you will have the opportunity to have your kids down on the field. I believe it's ages 5 to 14. SDSockers.com/clinic for more information. And if you sign up for this and take part in the clinic, you also get the opportunity to be a part of the Parade of Champions that night, be down on the floor for pre-match introductions, for the player introductions, for the hype video and everything else. It's also Kick Cancer Night on January 14th. There will be a Sockers belt bag giveaway, or some people call that a man purse or a merce. So Sockers merce giveaway on January 14th. Kick Cancer Night, tons of cancer charities out on the concourse, opportunity to learn, educate, support. That will be taking place as well. So it's a huge night, and above everything else, it's the Savage, man. It's Sockers Chihuahua. It's the first chance to get some revenge on the Savage at home. Literally, if Monterey beats them twice this weekend and then we beat them on the 14th, like, wrap it up, wrap up the West for San Diego, for home field at least, if nothing else. So, this is a huge weekend for Chihuahua. Chihuahua needs to get minimum 3 points out of this weekend because they got 0 against Monterey last time around. You buck a 4-game losing streak, you're not going to win the West. So, big weekend for Chihuahua this weekend, but that's for Savage Overtime. Here on Sockers Overtime, just saying, skills clinic and then a gigantic match. Bring all the supporters we want to see. Maximum Brujos, maximum locals, maximum Riptide, maximum everything. That's the night to get loud. That's the night to get crazy. That's the night that will define this season at the almost midway point. Is Sockers and Savage. So that's coming up. But this weekend, Sockers and Outlaws, also a huge game. Also a game where if somehow Texas came in and won, the whole league would probably, like all those ratings dudes, Tony would probably like rate them over us, and in the rankings, move things around, and Phil Ivanko will be like, oh, maybe it's Texas instead. Like, no, it's us either way. But it's a big match. It's exciting. It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see Mendez, Ortiz, Morales, Dantas, Uzi, Pollo. There's players. There's players on that Texas team. They're a good team. They're a team on the rise. So huge one this Sunday. Get your tickets, sdsoccers.com, 866-799-GOAL. If you come day of game, arena box office, absolutely. But very important, Tony, not to give them a breath of like, hey, maybe we've got a chance in this. Maybe they're not as good as we think. It's important to set the tone.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's definitely a goal that this team, the San Diego Sockers, has, and a resolution almost to go into this New Year's to be that dominant team once again, because there is some competition, even if it's for the Supporters Shield, which is never a gimme. But now it's turning up the heat with some great teams across the league.
Just to wrap up things real quick, R. Tibbetts in the chat asked, has there been any public posts showing the progress on Front Wave Arena? I invite you to follow Front Wave Arena on Instagram, on X, on Facebook. The arena now has dedicated social media. They have somebody who is employed to do that. That's not me. And they are putting up regular posts. I saw something in late December, and you can see regular updates at Front Wave Arena on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, social media, so on and so forth. Marlisha asks, tickets. And Marlisha, you know how to get a hold of me if you need tickets for Riptides. you know what's what. You know what's what. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Well, don't forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, no, remember, especially to invite everybody, but
yes.
Don't worry about it. And that brings an end to this episode of Soccer's Overtime. We're hitting that neat 90-minute mark. Big thanks to Tavoy Morgan. Absolutely love talking to this kid anytime that we get the chance. Thanks to yourself, Tony, as always, for the outstanding job producing and directing this program. And where can everyone follow not only your exploits, but the most important relevant soccer podcast that is not about the Sockers, but is sometimes about the Sockers in San Diego, California?
You can go ahead and find everything that we are doing in soccer in San Diego over at San Diego Futbol, like literally San Diego Futbol. We're changing, actually. Oh, there we go. Wrong one. But that's one of the changes that we're doing for this year is moving over to San Diego Futbol, the new hub, the new home for everything. Two balls and a mic. Everything is coming up. Some new projects. Check everything out at that website, San Diego Futbol and _ Tony Sanchez.
And in case you're wondering, punto means dot. So San Diego.
I was thinking of it just comes naturally. .com, pues sí. .com.mx. No MX.
Sí. San Diego Futbol, Futbol. Check it out. Check out Tony at _ Tony Sanchez. You can follow me on Twitter at 619 Sports and Life. You can follow me on X at 619 Sports. Now that I've got a radio job, I got to be back on Twitter more or X more. So I'll be there. A lot of nice people saying a lot of nice things so far today, and we absolutely appreciate it. For Tony Sanchez, I'm Craig Elston. We will check you out Sunday on MASL Soccer right here on Twitch with the match broadcast at 5:05 p.m. We will carry the media game live, and you will see whether Tony sinks or swims, and then he'll be right back up there. I mean, if he thought playing those 8 minutes were tough, think about going up the stairs afterwards. Holy crap.
Yeah. It's going to be intense. I'll say that much.
Amazing stuff. And if you do want to tune in, and we invite you to tune in, Annie and Elston makes its debut Thursday, 10 a.m. on 97.3 The Fan. So check us out Thursday and then every day thereafter till the end of time, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on 97.3 The Fan. For Tony Sanchez, for Tavoy Morgan, I'm Craig Elston saying thank you for being a part of the show. We will see you on Sunday. And until then, have a great rest of your week. Go Sockers!